Ty is calling from Vermont. Pronouns are they, them. Welcome, Ty. You are on the Sunday show with Matt
Ah,
and Promise.
thanks for having me, folks. It's really nice to be a part of the show. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, so much appreciated. Love what you guys do, of course. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I just wanted to call. It's been, I guess you guys weren't having any theists calling, but yeah, I'm an atheist. I have been since a pretty young age, but I was raised Christian, and um, I guess, yeah, in my call screen, I said I was still grappling with the effects of like, all the indoctrination, all the dogma, all the superstition. I would say the superstition is probably the worst part, but yeah, growing up, you know, believed in God and demons and stuff, and I was always like terrified. I'm like a very anxious person, and it definitely added to that. But now, like as an adult, I'm 25 now. I am engaged, and I'm trans, which is terrifying in and of itself. Um, but yeah, my early days were formed around superstition, and I wanted to ask you to like, how do you two reckon with those kind of echoes that were instilled within you? And like, do you ever notice things popping up? Like, I don't know. It feels weird because consciously I don't believe in religion and I don't believe in, the supernatural very much at all. But I still feel myself having these, like, it's almost like these small little chains trying to pull me back and like, wanting to believe in things. I don't know if it's my mind wanting to like, simplify the complex or like, or what it is. But again, I'm conflicted because I don't actively believe, but I'm still feeling the echoes, if that makes sense. So I wanted to hear your takes on it, if that's all right.
Well, I'm wondering. So I don't experience that, but I've heard from people who do. Like, there is absolutely
No, that's
nothing
that's good.
at all that makes me lean towards anything supernatural at all,
Mm,
or even want it to be the case. But to me, what we see is a lot of resistance to change. Like, I've always lived in
mm,
this house and now I've moved to a new house. And part of me wishes I was still at my old house. Um, if it's something like that, that makes sense and is just kind of normal in our thoughts for, bygone times.
yeah,
I don't tend to live like that. I don't have a sense of nostalgia for a lot of things. And if I suppose if my situation got dramatically worse, I might regret that it wasn't better. But when you
yeah.
say
I
there are
maybe.
things that
Oh, sorry.
seem to be pulling you back towards belief or wishful thinking towards belief, like, can you give an example?
Yeah, I wanted to clarify a little bit too, because I guess it's not maybe pulling me back towards like supernatural beliefs, but I think maybe it's more related to like the shame of, having to hide who I was my whole life, being told I wasn't allowed to do certain things that were affirming for me, stuff like that. Like, I guess more reckoning with the dogma and like all the shame that people instilled within me, because people were very, if you could use your imagination, they were pretty unkind to me growing up because I was raised, forced to be raised as a boy, even though that wasn't how I felt inside. And I knew that from a very young age, but never really had the,
Sure.
language to express those kinds of things, if that makes sense. So
I-
yeah, just to clarify, maybe not the supernatural as much as just like the feelings of like, I don't know. It's honestly just confusion. And you two are, yeah, just very well thought out and experienced in this kind of thing. Um,
well, I
yeah, I
know
don't know.
that.
It's a bizarre experience.
Yeah, I don't know how much this does or doesn't tie to religion specifically. I know things are um, much tougher, especially for trans folks. Um,
Yeah.
it's I'm probably first of all, I'd recommend recoveringfromreligion.org, and I'd also recommend the Transatlantic Call-In Show, which airs here on Thursday, so you can talk to people
Okay.
with whose experience is much closer to yours than mine is. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. If Promises Mike is
Can
working
you
out.
hear
If
me
you have
now?
thoughts, yes, we hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Hey,
So
promise.
Sorry, I'm over
Ties.
here like trying to resolve the issue. I've got an ice pack on my computer. I think it might be working
Oh
now.
goodness.
Yeah, catch me
Right.
up, Matt, from
Wow.
what I caught the little pieces here and there, but
Yeah.
what's the gist
So
of it?
Kai is just struggling with. They grew up in a religious community, and they're not religious now. They're also trans, and I think if correct me if I'm wrong, Ty, but a little bit of it seems to be like wishing you had been treated better once upon a time, and yet still lamenting the community that you no longer have.
It's not quite because I'm honestly, it's more like I guess it's closer in proximity to that because it's like my dad and my stepmom who took part in raising me. They're like evangelical Christian nationalists. The furthest right you could go without, Nazi saluting, basically. Um, and for them, like, I don't know, they just instilled a lot of shame within me, I guess, growing up, and for little
Mm,
things too. And I'm just noticing echoes of that today in my life. Like dressing how I want, I
Ah,
still have so much anxiety going out because I'm afraid of like, Christian evangelicals doing a hate crime on me or something. And I guess I'm still reckoning with that fear. And part of the reason I wanted to call in was like, I'm just curious as to you two, I don't know, maybe cope with the echoes of like the shame that religious figures wanted to instill upon you because clearly it's nonsensical and it's dogmatic and everything like that, but it's like
yeah,
a more
it still
primal
sticks
and
with you.
carnal experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
so
relate to
I'm
that.
not looking
I
for. Yeah, thank you.
I think for me, what really helped um, was holding space for two different things. Number one, the justified anger and grief and frustration that I
Mm,
felt toward the people that made me feel this way, towards the teachings that made me feel this way, toward my own self for accepting some of those things, but then holding space
yeah.
for, okay, now who do I get to be? And the more I started
Mm,
turning attention to that part and finding the joy and excitement in figuring out, like, okay, who am I actually? Like, without these teachings, without that shame, what does that look like? Like, who am I without those things? And the more I
yeah.
turned my attention there, the more I prioritized finding kind of, I just call them like the joyful moments of discovering myself, sometimes rediscovering. Sometimes there were things that were always there. I just had to notice them. Um, the less I cared so much about the other stuff. It just started to kind of melt away.
Yeah,
And that's not to say that sometimes that stuff doesn't come up. Like, put me around my family long enough and I am triggered as hell. But
I hear
I
that.
am now able to, truly live life on my own terms because I have space for both of those things. So I don't feel like I'm fighting them anymore. I feel like they can cohabitate. And I'm sorry that sounds like so woo woo, probably. I hope some of
No,
it's
no,
coming
no.
across how I mean it.
I'm picking up what you're
Uh,
putting down. No, that all makes sense. And I
yeah.
think what you were saying there resonated with me because like something I've really been working on is just simply setting boundaries with these people who really want to, it's almost like a child excited to show me a drawing. They're like excited to tell me all the dogmatic things that they learned at church recently. And like, their pastor tells them something negative about trans people and they come to me and they're like, oh, wait, I know one of them. Like, let me share my little drawing that I made of trans people being sad. But sorry. But no, just like
No,
setting
I'm
boundaries,
so
I think
sorry.
is a really powerful tool. No, no, it's all good. I'm not alone in this experience, and it makes me feel nice to know that you two are out there helping to spread the good word. um,
Yeah,
so much appreciated
boundaries
to you two.
are
But
boundaries are huge. Like that is, I'm so proud of you for recognizing that and doing that because that actually leaves more potential in relationships with people that are still stuck in evangelicalism or whatever it may be. Because you're
yeah,
saying, look, if there's going to be relationship here, it's going to be without these things. And if you can meet me there, you can
right.
have the relationship. If you can't, then this isn't going to work. And kind of acknowledging that both of you have to grieve some things because I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that you would love to be excited with them about and share with them. Like you're saying, I like that example of like a picture
Yeah,
and they're coming to you and that's honestly amazing of you that you're able to recognize that it is kind of like this childlike, oh, let me just show you this thing, but it's causing harm to you. And so that's why, like you said, you have to set the
definitely.
boundaries. So I think that's great. I think you're doing an amazing job, and I'm just really proud of you to that you're at the point that you are
Aw,
already.
You're going to make me cry. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Well, I've heard a lot about your two stories as well, and I just wanted to express my own pride in, being part of your audience, because you two are both braver than you know, and I'm sure everyone in the audience right now can agree that your work is much appreciated. So I appreciate you all
Thanks
taking my
so
call,
much,
and
Ty.
maybe I'll call back another day and let y'all know what's going on. But
Yeah.
stay strong
Please.
out
And
there,
don't,
folks, and come to Vermont. It's a beautiful place.
I was
I want
just,
to
All
visit
right.
just
Thanks,
Vermont.
there.
folks. It's great.
I was
Shout out to
just in
Burlington.
Vermont
All
like a
right.
month ago.
No way.
All right. Oh, sorry, Ty. I was in Newport. So
Lovely caller, though. I loved that.
yeah, let me kind of touch on this. First of all, part of me was just Dr. Darrell Ray was here because shame, particularly religious shame, in the arenas surrounding sex and sexuality and gender are something that Darrell's talked about quite a lot. That's why, in addition to recommending recoveringfromreligion.org, we also recommend seculartherapy.org. So you can find a therapist that is going to treat you with science-based secular treatments and not you need to get right with God or whatever. I fully recognize that I may be weird in this aspect. Nobody can shame me. It's not possible. I'm ashamed, and I'm going to put that in quotes because I'm going to make a distinction here. All on my own, in the colloquial sense, whenever I find that I'm truly guilty of something, whether I'm the one that catches me out or somebody else catches me out, when they catch me out for doing something wrong, they're not shaming me. They're offering me their corrective remarks. And then I am, in a kind of a normative sense, ashamed and regretful. And I feel guilty because I should. I did something wrong. And if someone is trying to shame me for something that I genuinely do not think is wrong, even if I did it, they can never shame me. I am immune to it. I genuinely don't care. And the shame that they attempt to do tends to come in around human sexuality and gender, things like that. Sins against God, sins against nature, sins against your parents. I'm not going to reveal any names, but I had a conversation yesterday with someone who just they found out 3 years ago that one of their kids is trans, and it did not go well. The kid's mom basically shut down a little bit. And then after a couple weeks, that the trans individual just cut all of them off. And it's 3 years later, and they're talking to me out of the blue, and they're like, what can we do? And yet, in the entire conversation, they are constantly using their kid's dead name and prior pronouns. And I'm like, it's been 3 years. I know you haven't had any interaction with them, but I also feel like there's been little to no progress here. I'm sorry that your kid isn't the person you thought they were or wished they were, but I'm also not sorry because I'm glad when someone finds out who they are, and then you either continue to love and interact with them for who they are on their terms, or you don't. And the person I was talking to was like, yeah, but you know, your mom's different. You can't do this type of thing to your mom. And I'm like, why? My mom is either going to treat me and my partner, my friends with respect, or she can fuck off. I don't care that we're blood relatives. I care about actual relationships. The fact that we are near kin biologically is something I have no say in. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my parents. I love my mom. I'm happy to interact with them, but there's limits, and I get it. I'm probably weird in that sense that I'm able to draw boundaries where I know who I am. I'm going to be me. I've taken an inventory of my life. I know where I'm at. I know the things I fucked up. I fucked up right before the show, and even sat here. And it's a mild thing. It has to do with our animals. I was supposed to have done something and I got around to it late. And part of me is tempted to, oh, just tell Arden you did it earlier. But I won't lie to her about something so trivial. It's, no, I fucked up and I waited till the last damn minute and I got it done, but at least I got it done. And yes, I will do better next time. That sort of inventory on yourself, at least for me, makes me immune to someone else trying to shame me. And you can't shame, you can't shame someone for being left-handed, for being gay, for being trans, for needing glasses, for being a diabetic, for being slow to wake up, for needing a cup of coffee, for having sex with someone that you don't like, for saying words you're not fond of. You can try to shame them all and you will have success, but you'll have success only with the people who've been conditioned to value your impression of them over their thoughts about themselves. And I no longer fit that category. And I wish other people could, but I might also just be broken.
No, I think it's good. It reminds me, is it Eleanor Roosevelt? She said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Which is,
yes,
I think, close to what you're saying. You get to decide how much weight that person's perspective of you can carry. And sometimes that's a process for people. It took me a little bit longer, but it feels really good when your own opinion of yourself matters more than anyone else's. And that doesn't mean that other people can't have some impact on that in a positive way. Like I deeply care what my partner thinks about my character because he knows me. But some person whose values don't align with mine, I don't give a shit if they don't like me or if they don't like something about me. And that was something that I had to learn outside of religion, because religion teaches you the opposite, that you're supposed to give respect and honor and all of this stuff just because a person is, in leadership or is your blood relative or is older than you or whatever it may be. And instead of teaching, just some basic thinking skills of, is this somebody that should hold weight in my life or not?
And like and subscribe, or Jimmy will have to go on a polyamorous dating show to win some prize money.
Wait, I want to do that. So also hit like and subscribe, and then go to patreon.com/calltheline. I was trying to make you laugh and ruin the take. That's why that silly face earlier. If I was on a polyamorous dating show, I would just choose everybody. Except Frederick. Leave a comment.